Have you ever come across the phrase less is more and found yourself a bit puzzled? How can having less of something actually result in having more? It's like saying, the less chocolate cake I eat, the more satisfied I am, which sounds totally untrue, right? But hold on a second. There's a deeper meaning to this idea than you might think, and it's more impactful than it seems, especially for both our minds and, well, maybe even our stomachs. Part 1. JOMO, the joy of missing out. In our hyper-connected world, we're always hearing about FOMO, the fear of missing out. But have you heard of JOMO? It's the joy of missing out. That's right. Finding joy in not filling your schedule with endless plans, not having to chase after the latest gadgets, and simply being happy with where you are and what you have. Part 2. Modern minimalism. In today's world, minimalism isn't just about tidying up. It's a whole way of life. It's about creating space for what really matters. Modern minimalist expert Joshua Becker says, the first step to building the life you want is to get rid of the things you don't. It's like that moment when you finally clear out your old emails and feel a sense of peace wash over you. That's the minimalist ideal, a calm, focused life with space to think and breathe. The reality is, our possessions often cause us more stress than joy. We worry about maintaining them, losing them, or wondering if we should have bought the newer, better version. It's a bit like being in a bad relationship you just can't seem to leave. Philosophers and psychologists agree that clutter doesn't just fill physical space, it also clogs up mental space. It's hard to feel peaceful when you're tripping over random stuff and can't find your keys beneath a pile of who knows what. Part 3. The magic of simplicity through time. The idea of embracing less has been echoed by thinkers throughout history, from the ancient Greeks to today's minimalists. These wise minds have argued that by cutting down the clutter, not just in our homes, but in our minds and our lives, we can uncover more joy, freedom, and a sense of purpose. Epicurus, for example, was an ancient philosopher who valued simplicity deeply. He believed that true happiness came from enjoying life's basic pleasures. For him, a good day consisted of a loaf of bread, a bit of water, and a chat with friends. Forget about lavish feasts or expensive wine. He found happiness in the simple joys like the taste of plain bread or the sound of shared laughter. Epicurus was, in many ways, the original champion of less is more. He believed that by keeping our desires in check and steering clear of luxurious cravings, we could discover true contentment. You wouldn't catch him scrolling through an ancient version of Instagram, envying the rich and famous. He was far too busy savoring his modest meals and indulging in deep thoughts. The Stoics, another school of ancient thought, also believed that real happiness came from within, not from owning material goods. They taught that by curbing our desires, we could avoid the disappointment that comes from wanting things we don't have. After all, if you don't yearn for much, you'll rarely feel let down. The Stoics were like the original minimalists. Think of people today who live out of a single backpack and rave about how freeing it feels. The Buddha also had a thing for simplicity. He advocated for the middle path, which is all about balance, neither going overboard with luxury nor stripping away all life's pleasures. He left behind a life of royalty to discover that neither extreme wealth nor extreme deprivation brings happiness. Instead, he taught the value of moderation. Imagine Buddha at a buffet. He'd likely pick a little salad, a bit of rice, and some fruit, just enough to enjoy without needing a nap afterward. This middle way is like opting for a practical, fuel-efficient car over a flashy sports model. It gets you where you need to be without the stress or the expense. Many spiritual traditions teach that a simple life brings inner peace and fulfillment. Whether it's Buddhism's mindfulness, Christianity's call to humility, or Zen Buddhism's concept of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection, simplicity is a shared thread across time. It's not just about decluttering our homes or calendars. It's about clearing our minds and hearts, finding clarity, and living in harmony with ourselves and the world. The philosophy of less is more reminds us that by embracing simplicity, life can often become richer and happier. On the other hand, a simple life is like having a wide-open field to run in. There's room to breathe, to think, and most importantly, to relax. So let's take a lesson from the great philosophers, both ancient and modern, and try living a little lighter. After all, life is too short to be buried under possessions, obligations, and unnecessary stress. Let's laugh more, love more, and yes, own less. And remember, sometimes it's okay to say, no thanks, I'm just enjoying the sunshine. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more great content. See you next time.